Delta, United, and to a lesser extent, American are going to probably be the best part of the story this quarter. And I think Delta showed some resilience in that in the revenue lines, right? And I think you have to remember this is a pretty diversified from a revenue standpoint company. They have maintenance business that brought in some great double-digit gains. They've got they had cargo, they had loyalty that all sort of brought in gains as well as premium. And basic lagged a little bit, although they indicated that they've been cutting down a number of basic seats. But I think generally the story was pretty good on the revenue front. They grew less than United and American, so I think that means they could support some of those higher fares. They were like at 1% seat count growth. We're going to see United, I think, come in closer to 6. We're going to see American around 3-ish. So I think this might be the best part, again, of the revenue story for U.S. airlines as we get into this earnings season. And one of the challenges, I think, too, in growing a little slower on the capacity front is that some of their costs ballooned a little bit. But look, again, I think they made some good ground. They haven't totally compensated for higher fuel prices, but they made some good ground. I think it was a pretty decent earnings numbers.
Hey, George, talk to us about just maybe the trend in the industry to maybe taking out some economy seats, putting in more business or first class seats. How is a cabin changing within the industry these days?
Yeah, I think you're just, on the big full service guys, you're seeing a lot of, I don't know what we want to call it, upgrading, improving, right? And remember, like that premium seat, that can stretch anything from premium economy to more business seats. I think they're finding, again, that, they're focusing on the well-heeled consumer, your retiree, and your 401k accounts. I guess it's not a 401k anymore. Your investment accounts are rocking and rolling. You don't want to fly overseas. You don't want to fly to the West Coast in something that's as cramped as some of that basic economy in the back of the airplane. So those carriers have sort of been pushing that upgraded seat, trying to get more money from it. And again, I think, Delta has shown some success on that front. And I would expect you're going to see the same out of United and American, but to a lesser extent.
So
But
what
you know,
happens?
the low
What
cost
happens?
guys.
What happens to the lower end consumer? Where does that consumer go? Do I have to fly? I mean, aren't some of these airlines going out of business? These discount airlines?
So we saw Spirit leave the business. I think that helped. Look, I think still at the bottom end of the scale, right? That basic economy traveler, one, they're under a little more pressure economically. I think inflation's hurting them a little harder, right? If when you raise the price of gas, it hits them in the pocketbook a little further too, right? It costs them more to commute to work of their total income. And so I think that means demand is probably a little bit softer in that basic economy world than it is in the premium world. And so I think, that kind of took away some of the gains we might have seen as Spirit left. And again, I think, you've got to bear in mind that Delta, United, and American are going for that basic economy traveler, right? There's still a basic economy section in the back of those airplanes that, provided they can sell that seat at a price that's higher than their incremental cost to deliver it, they're going to do it to that basic economy traveler, fill out those load factors, and create efficiencies, which improves profitability. And so that's the challenge in this business is United, Delta,
Right.
especially United, they're growing again 6% seats. There's probably going to be about that much in basic economy growth. They do that for long enough, and they kind of make up pretty quickly for Spirit Airlines leaving the business. So there's
Yep.
still a lot of competition, I think, in that basic economy. We'll see as earnings season goes on.